Labą dieną.
Good morning. Today we have the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Timcho in Lithuania. The meeting between the two ministers has just ended, and now we have a press conference. They will start with their statements, and then we will have a question-answer period. So, Mr. Budrys, you have the floor first.
That's my real pleasure to welcome you in Lithuania. Šiandien yra svarbi diena.
Well, this is a very important day for us because we are marking the 30th anniversary of our bilateral relations, diplomatic relations, and we see the progress that we have made, particularly in recent years. Again, particularly when we have opened the office in Skopje. This is a very active office, and it is a very important factor in our bilateral agenda. I want to underline my satisfaction with how we work, and I want to underscore the good relations that we have in NATO, and it is very important that we are on the same page, whether we speak about the neighborhood or we speak about the challenges that we have to face. Of course, the challenges are different, yours and ours, but I want to thank you very much, Mr. Minister, when you responded to our challenge that we had vis-à-vis Belarus, and I hope that we are going to be supported in the NATO meeting next week. We also mentioned our bilateral cooperation during our meeting, and we know that North Macedonia has a very important goal, that is membership of the European Union. And I know that when Lithuania takes the presidency of the Council of the European Union, we will have this matter on our agenda because we believe in the value of your membership of the European Union. Well, of course, the other two areas of our bilateral cooperation that have a huge potential, that is our cooperation in technological, in cybersecurity, in fintech, in general, well, of course, science and agricultural area. And there are areas that of course, defense industry. Our and your defense industry cooperation is something of particular importance. Well, of course, we are allies and we both believe in the potential of the matter. As for Belarus, and we touched upon this issue, and North Macedonia was among the very first to sign the agreement with Ukraine, and this is also important, and Lithuania is very much engaged. We are working hard to reach a long-standing peace agreement between, and so far there is no result. Unfortunately, Putin and his country wants to continue their aggression, and I know that there are issues that we can continue on, and there are lots of things in the pipeline now, and that's why I want to thank you very much indeed. And now I give the floor to Timcho Mucunski, Minister of Foreign Affairs of North Macedonia.
Dear Kęstutis,
The microphone.
dear Kęstutis, it's a true pleasure to be in Lithuania. This is my first visit to your country, but also my first visit to the Baltics. And it comes at a moment of significance, an important milestone. We celebrate 30 years of diplomatic relations between our two countries. We are allies in NATO, and I thank you for also personally always being such a strong and vocal voice of the principles of the alliance. It is a pleasure to work with you, and I know this type of cooperation will continue. You as a nation are also a very strong supporter of the European path of not just my country, but all of the candidate countries. And I think that this is a very strategic choice that is made on your side, and know that we value this and put a huge importance to the way by which you speak your voice in all European institutions. Allow me to say that I believe that our bilateral relationship has huge potential attached to it. The political relationship is good, but needs to get even better. We also have huge potential in various different areas. We spoke about economic cooperation, about bringing our industries together, whether it's digital transformation or the very high necessity of having our defense industries cooperating in light of both security challenges, but in light of our commitment as NATO allies to raise our spending when it comes to the percent of GDP that we engage in our budgets for defense spending. I think that we spoke about many concrete initiatives that will move forward. I hope in 2026 to bring forward a good announcement related to our stronger diplomatic presence here in Lithuania. And only through such a stronger diplomatic presence will we be able to strengthen the great relationship that we plan on building. In this visit, I will also be engaging with Parliament, with business, and I will also have an opportunity to directly thank your authorities in the area of health. About 6 months ago, my nation went through a very tragic moment in the city of Kočany, where there was a very significant fire. Lithuania was one of the first countries to step forward and to aid us in helping to provide medical care for some of those that were deeply affected. And I thank your government, but I also thank your people, your medical experts, who showed that friendship is not just rhetoric and press conferences. Friendship means actions. This is a gesture that we will not forget, and know that our nation will stand by you in all times, whether they are good or bad. This is what friendship is all about. I thank you once again for being such a gracious host today. I know that our engagement will continue, as we said, on a multifaceted level, covering many different issues. Our principled stance as a nation that is 100% aligned with the common foreign and security policy is that we are a European country, both in values and in practice, and our cooperation with NATO in many different areas, I know, will continue in an even better dynamic. Thank you.
Ačiū, kviečiu žiniasklaidos atstovą.
Thank you very much. Now, the press, you have the floor. The question is to both ministers. What are the main aspects concerning Ukraine peace deal, and what are the main challenges to European security? Thank you for the question. I think that the main respects and the main principles, and we spoke within the Foreign Council in the European Union, and this is often that we deal with those issues. We understand that we have to be firm in this respect. We must ensure peace. We have to stop Russian aggression. Territorial integrity, that is sovereignty and independence of each and every nation, is the key thing that we have to support. Occupation, and now we see that part of Ukraine is occupied. If we put on some limitations, we will violate the very core of the principles that I have just mentioned. Europe not only may, but must participate, be actively engaged, and that will give a very clear guarantee. Of course, I think that membership of the European Union of Ukraine is also on our agenda and should remain. We also understand that we have to deter. We have to be able to have the capabilities to deter Russia. In order to deter, we have to understand that everybody understands that every crime is to be punished. Because even if the open space we start talking about amnesty to war crimes, then the door will be open to any aggressor. You just, kidnap children, you kill people, and you go unpunished. No, this is not possible. Continuous and very clear support and aid to Ukraine on the part of Europe must be a clear engagement and an action.
Let me say that I believe that the Russian aggression against Ukraine is without a doubt the biggest global security challenge after the end of the Cold War. And we see it, first of all, in what is happening in Ukraine, but we see it in the fact that Russian malign activities go outside of the borders of the actual war itself. We see it in various forms of political interference. We see it through social media, but you also see it very directly in the fact that there are attempts to block civil aviation and to block the livelihood that we value. So this is a war fought on the ground, but this is very much a war on the basis of the different values that we have. And I think what's fundamentally very important is that we stand behind our values. When it comes concretely, it's about supporting Ukraine, but it's also about supporting Ukraine towards finding a just peace. It's about support on the battleground, political support, and support on a path for peace. And I believe that these are issues that go together complementary. There is a renewed effort towards finding peace. There is an effort led by our partners in the United States, the Trump administration, our great colleague, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a process which we support. Our European allies are very involved in these processes, and I believe that there should be a path towards peace, but a path that is principled and that is in line with international legal standards. Any path that our allies and we as allies will find towards peace, our nation, of course, will support. But I personally believe that the challenges will remain even after this war ends. And that is why we need to be unified. This will be part of the discussion that we will have next week at the NATO Foreign Ministerial. And I also believe these challenges are not related just to Russian malign activities, but to malign activities of other countries around the world. And what is most important is that we remain unified behind the principles which we stand for.
Ačiū, spaudos konferencija baigta. Dėkoju visiems ir
Thank you. The press conference is over, and I want to thank you. Wish you a good day.